Good morning, everyone. I have Dr. Mahesh here. He is one of the top doctors in Amrita Institute for the pediatric cardiologist. He's a cardiologist, pediatrician cardiologist. And I will let him explain how he does his work using 3D printing to make a difference in the kid's life. Go ahead, doctor.
Yes, so as pediatric cardiologists, we often have to deal with children with very complex heart diseases. And sometimes the complexity of the heart disease is what comes in between us and being able to give the patient a comprehensive surgery. So it's very important for us to really understand the three-dimensional anatomy of the heart in order to be able to successfully operate it. So the conventional way of how we do the assessments in cardiology is by using echocardiograms and sometimes MRI scans or CT scans. But even after we do these scans, what we get is actually two-dimensional information, and so we are looking at these computer screens and trying to mentally reconstruct these slices of information into the whole three-dimensional picture. And sometimes that can be awesomely challenging because the heart can be very complexly malformed. So that's one of the limitations that we have in cardiac imaging. So, but now cutting edge technology like 3D printing puts a great power into our hands. So what we have begun to do is to actually use these medical images which are generated from CT scans or MRIs or 3D echocardiograms. We use those data sets to actually convert them into actual physical models, or what we call the 3D prints. So this uses very specific technology where we use the three-dimensional imaging data which is acquired from CT scan or MRI, and we convert that into precise lifelike models of the heart. So now what this allows us to do is to really understand the heart in its three-dimensional perspective. We can do a surgery before going to the OR. That is, we have a precise replica of the patient's heart in our hands. So we can actually study the heart much before going to the operation theater. So we can cut open the heart, we can look inside, we can understand where the defects are, how the different arteries and veins are connected to the heart, how they are related to each other. We can get a complete three-dimensional perspective, and this kind of a view is something that one can only get otherwise by operating upon a person and opening up the body. But now we are able to do that completely offline. So before we take the patient for surgery, we use these 3D printed models which are extremely precise replicas of the actual patient anatomy, and this helps us really plan the surgery well. So since cardiac surgery is usually done on cardiopulmonary bypass, so during the entire period of surgery, the heart is actually stopped and the circulation is carried out by a machine which is a few feet away from the body, and that's the machine which is purifying and pumping the blood back. So the heart is lying flaccid inside the body when we are operating. So that's a very unnatural circulation because we're actually taking the blood out of the body and pushing it through a pump, and there is blood destruction happening, and there's a lot of harmful chemicals which are being released during that period. So we always endeavor to keep the period very short. The cardiopulmonary bypass period is something that we try to endeavor to keep very short. The shorter the bypass time, the better would be the post-operative recovery. Now in a complex heart, traditionally it takes a long period on the bypass for the surgeon to really examine the heart and understand the problems. It's only then that he starts to fix it. Now with the 3D printed models in hand, we do all the planning before. So we know
you don't have to waste the
we
time.
don't have to waste the time on cardiopulmonary bypass, so you can really cut
And
it down.
unneeded incisions can be avoided.
Absolutely. So your blood loss gets minimized, unnecessary incisions get reduced, and your whole operating time gets reduced, and you already know the exact steps that you're going to take in surgery. So that really helps with minimizing intraoperative complications, and also the post-operative recovery becomes much faster because you reduce the problems.
Fabulous. Thank you, Dr. Mahesh. And I think what you've done to humanity is commendable, where saving lives is important and making the recovery fast is also important for the patients because it helps them heal better, and it reduces infections. Success rate is high. Thank you so much, doctor, and thanks for all of your wonderful work that you've been doing. Thank you.